I'm not sure who's out there, but I'm having problems getting in. I'm not sure if you can hear me still. Werner, I'm not sure if you're there.
Jill, can you hear me?
Ah, now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, at the bottom left, click your
Video?
Audio on.
Video on. I don't know if you can, but the video doesn't seem to be working.
We can hear you there. The video works now. We can't see your face.
I know. I don't know why. Hey, wait, you know what?
Ah, there it is. There it is.
Here we are. My cat knocked my camera, I think. There we are. All right. So are we on?
Yes, we are.
So can everybody hear and see, and can we begin? Okay, can I begin? Hello? I am not getting any response from anyone. So I'm just, Werner, are you out there? You ready to go? Werner?
Jill, just hold on a moment. We're just getting Henny's sound on, and then we're going to start.
Okay, just let me know when we're ready.
We are well. Thank you for everybody's patience. We're experiencing a little technical problem, but we've seems to have worked it out. No, cool.
Jump onto your screen share.
Good afternoon, Jill. Yes, we need to say sorry to everyone for the delay. I think there was a bit of a technical problem today. We've got Jill on board. Jill is ready to start her presentation. And I've mentioned to you before about this exploring of puppetry and how important it is to get the engagement during learning. Then I would just like to remind you again that Jill also made some lesson plans, sources available that we will, of course, can you hear me, Jill?
You're sounding very broken.
Okay, I'm very sorry about that. They're still trying to sort quickly the digital.
Okay, that sounded better. That's much better.
So we're getting there. So I was just telling the audience, Jill, that you've made provision to provide us with some resources, lesson plans. Now, those things I would just like to make everyone aware. We will load it up as under the resource tab on the platform that we use for the conference. Thank you very much that you are part of this conference this afternoon. Thank you that you will get us dreaming about how to get our young people engaged in learning.
Is it over to me?
Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I hope you can see and hear me. This is supposed to be a practical session, but obviously I can't do a practical session with you. But instead, I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation that you can actually access and have. And I'm going to ask Werner to start off, and the screen will be opened onto the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to take you through it step by step in the time that we have. If that's in order with everyone, Werner, can we get going?
So, Jill, if you will just hang in there a second, they're just trying to get that slides open, that we don't have you talking and there's no slide for the audience to watch. So we'll give you the indicator now, if that's uploaded on the site.
That's fine. And while that loads up, I just want to give everyone a bit of a background. This is called theatre in a box. Some people call it toy theatre or paper theatre. And what this is, it's a group activity that you can either present to your learners as part of something you want to explain visually, but much more fun is if your learners do this themselves. Can you still hear?
Yes, sure.
Good. So even though this has been promoted as a foundation phase exercise, it's not really for foundation phase only. You can take it through all the phases up to high school. The reason it's been billed as foundation phase is that I did this workshop just before lockdown last year at the Zeit Smoker for 30 foundation phase teachers. And you will see from the slides their engagement and the fun that they had with the process. I also did this with PGCE students in the foundation phase, again, when UCT was still running the PGCE course for foundation phase. And my students last year simply took this PowerPoint as you are going to have it and did it completely on their own. So I know it's I know that it's tried and tested, and I know that if they could do it on their own, so could you. So if we can get onto it, Vanna, are we there, or shall I carry on?
You can carry on.
Okay. So this, as I said, is a group project. It's something that certainly in a classroom situation you can take over a period of time, you will see. And it is puppetry, yes, but it's also about visual art. It's also about drama. It's also about music. It's also can be used in language, sciences, any kind of teaching you want to use as a very hands-on and very fun method of working. The only one potential problem is that you need a craft knife, so you may need to build the theatres yourselves or obviously guide learners through the process. And if you want this to be a permanent fixture in your classroom, it would be wonderful to make it out of plywood so that it's there all the time. And Werner, can we get started on the introduction if you have the slides available?
Jill?
Yeah.
We're still having a bit of a technical challenge. Here, I've got it now. Hold on. You want to look at that first slide, am I correct?
I want the first slide, which is the introduction.
Right.
All right. Has everybody got that on their screen too? It says theatre in a box. There we go. Can I assume that everybody can see it, and can everybody hear me?
Yes, you're clear now. PowerPoint's running and everybody can see you.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so this is just a bit of a blurb about this resource pack that you're seeing in front of you. It was commissioned by the Zeit Smoker after the workshop that I ran at the Zeit Smoker. And you are getting my, if you like, my raw slides. The Zeit Smoker have made them much more fancy, but it hasn't been distributed yet. And the one thing that's missing from my slides are the stories that I used, but the Zeit Smoker is going to distribute this amongst their people as soon as it's done. So I'm not quite sure when that's going to be. But in any case, what you're seeing in the picture is one of the theatre inner boxes with the theatre itself and the little, well, actually very beautifully made little house and the puppets in front that were made by those teachers. We can have the next slide. So this resource pack consists of the introduction to theatre in a box, which is what you're seeing now. It consists of the construction, which we will do later, the backdrops and characters and how to perform. The only thing it doesn't have are the 6 African folk tales. But right now, that's neither here nor there. What you see in the picture is a theatre that I've constructed with 2 little characters popping out of the trees in the background. Next slide. So theatre in a box was originally came from Victorian England. Next slide. And while those slides are happening, This is the introduction to the workshops and to whom it is directed. So I've said that it's directed towards foundation and intermediate phase classroom, parents, anybody who wants to do it. And what you're seeing are visuals from teachers happily engaged in the process at that particular workshop at the Zeitz MoCA, as you can see, March 2020. Next slide, please. And if adults can have a lot of fun, so can you. So there it is, paper theatre, toy theatre. And as I said, it can be used to combine creative arts, language teaching, multilingual, multimodal methodology of working, and it can explain a range of concepts. What you're seeing in front of you is a theatre that a group of teachers, about 6 teachers, created. So you can see the cardboard box, the beautiful decorated top, the props and sets and backdrops inside the theatre, and their wonderful little animals that they created in the front. Next slide, please. So in Victorian England, when people went to see a theatre and a theatre piece, they could actually buy the little theatre in miniature with all the characters ready-made that they could then take home and perform, rather like an old-fashioned television set. And on your slide at the left, you can see children entertaining each other with such a Victorian theatre. And they really were exquisite artworks, as you can see from the pictures. Next slide. But how can we use it in the classroom now? So you can use it as a solo show where you, the teacher, construct it all and perform whatever concepts you want to perform. Alternatively, it's really fun as a group activity. So it's quite nice to have about 6 people per theatre, because some people need to create the theatre, others the backdrops, others the characters. And I also warned you about using the craft knife. The little pictures at the bottom are animals and slides and characters that were created in both 2 and 3 dimensions by teachers. We can have the next slide. So there are many, many different ways, obviously, of telling a story. And when you tell a story using theatre in the box, you're going to have to pare it down from being very verbal to being very, very visual. And a lot of the creation of the telling of the story will happen as you actually construct the story as we go. And the blurb in this text is just telling you that you can take an existing story but change characters into animals, into people, genders, or whatever. And of course, as soon as you give stories over to children, they create the most extraordinarily wacky and inventive stories, often way more inventive than we as adults can do. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we're going on to the next set of workshops, which is going to be about how to construct the theatre itself. So we're just going to wait for that to come on. If you have any questions, I'm not quite sure how to view them, but if you want to speak up and ask me while we wait for the next slides, you can perhaps do that. And as I said, that these will be given to you and you can just have them for yourself. And you can probably access them somehow through this platform. Werner, are you ready for the next one? I'm not sure, Werner, if you can hear me. I feel as if I've lost everybody. And I'm presuming you are all still out there. It feels very strange talking to myself on the screen. I find it very difficult to work like this, but yay, thank you. Okay, great, you can hear me. And I saw a quick question, do you tell the story first and then do you let the children do it? I think that's entirely up to you. Sometimes you can tell the story first and let them go with the screen, sometimes with the performance, sometimes they like to tell the stories their own way. And here we are coming, I hope, to there we are, constructing the theatre in the box. So this is your next set of slides that you're going to receive. And are the puppets in slots? You will see that as we go. So let's just go through these, and I think most of these questions will be answered as we go. All right. Yeah, thanks, Chloe. I see you there. Super. So You can see on the one is the raw cardboard box, and the other is that exact same cardboard box, but painted and decorated. Can we have the next slide? There we are. So what you need is a good, strong, corrugated cardboard box, craft knife, scissors, tape, colored paper, fabric, etc., whatever you want. And once you've constructed it, it's going to look roughly like what you're seeing in the picture. But let's take it step by step. Next slide, please. So you can find boxes from anywhere. You can use big ones. You can use small ones. A big cardboard box is fabulous if you're working on a group project. A small box is all you need if you're going solo. And the first thing you need to do is clean up the box of all the rubbish. So you're stripping it nice so that you've got a really nice surface to work with. Next slide, please. Right, so for those of you who might not be familiar with craft knives, if you are cutting cardboard and trying to cut out from cardboard, a very good knife to use is a plain serrated kitchen knife, and you saw as if you are sawing wood. However, if you are using a craft knife, as you see in the picture, don't press hard to try and cut because you can really hurt yourself. Rather stroke the knife gently again and again and again until you get a little in, and then you can use that as if you're cutting a slice of bread. So your first thing is to cut the bottom of the box, and the side flaps are cut off the box, as you can see, but you leave the top flap because that you're going to decorate. Once you've cut the bottom flap, you can cut it into strips, as you can see, and those are going to be used as your slide later on. Okay, next slide. So if you've got a nice cutting mat, it's useful to use a cutting mat and a steel ruler when working with a craft knife so that you don't cut yourself or cut into the plastic. And you can start to see that that is how you can design your top. So the box is upside down, and you can cut interesting patterns off the top, turn it the other way, and the zigzags that you've cut out in this particular example, you can put onto kebab sticks and make a really nice, fun top to your theater. And you can see the kebab sticks can go into the corrugations, just as you see from the picture. Next slide. Now, the flap, which is your top, is going to potentially flop down. So you can fix it, as you see in the picture, by making a little piece of string through the top and putting it around a little stick and tying it to the bottom, and that will prevent it from slipping down in your story. Next slide. So while you've got your box facing backwards, as you can see, you're going to need to make a place for backdrops. So you can see there that you can use roughly a ruler length and width to cut out a slot at the back. And you will see in a little bit later how the backdrops fit in, but that can be a useful slide for your characters later on. Next slide. Now, if you look carefully, you will see that the sides of the theater have been cut and opened out to make your wings. So if you look quite carefully, this is the slide of the theater on your left slide. So you need to cut, and then something that's called score from the inside. So the score means you don't cut through, but you stroke your knife down your line, and it just breaks the corrugation so that you can open it out as you see in the picture. If, however, you have cut that out by mistake, you can always tape it on. The good thing with this is that you can never really make a mistake. And sometimes if you make a mistake, you invent another whole way to do it. But the very important thing is if your characters are sliding in the bottom, you need to make sure that you cut your bottom slide perfectly so that your character doesn't have to hop over the little ridge. Okay, next slide. So once you've opened your two side panels out, those are going to mask your characters coming in and out, as you can see. So those are two little characters, a little bird and a little elephant, a little chicken, that slide in and out of your box. So in the conventional way of toy theatre or theatre in a box, your characters slide in and out from the bottom. However, you can be really inventive and you can cut a space out of the top so that characters can come through the top as well. So what you see is a little fish coming along to talk to a little bokkie that's at the bottom of the box. So there's no end to the possibilities around this. However, if you are cutting a slot at the box, you have to make sure that your whole box doesn't collapse altogether. So these are things you need to imagine as your story unfolds. Next slide. So we're going back to the beginning again, and you can, here we are. So once you've got your basic structure done, there are lots of different ways to decorate. So you can theme your whole box with collage and text. You can add additional wings. I think we're missing a slide with wings, but you'll be able to work it out when you see that. You can also strengthen the rather weak supports potentially without collapsing your box by using paper rolls. So the theatre in the box on the one side was one that teachers did where they collaged and cut out to decorate the box. You can see some of the back there. But the bottom one is one that has been painted with PVA paint, which I think comes into the next slide. So if you can see that. So here we are. So if you want to paint with PVA paint, it's a very good idea to paint with a white or a light gray, and you can paint your entire theatre and all the props and backdrops you're going to use. So on your right-hand side, yeah.
I'm so sorry to jump in here. I'm sorry about the bit of the hiccup in the beginning, but we will make the slides also available for people under the resources. I'm going to give you 1 minute to round up if it's possible.
Yep, sure. So let's go to the next lot of slides. Thanks, Werner. I'm sorry, this is taking, I think there were all the hitches in the beginning. So I'm going to go through very quickly. The last lot, or we're rounding up now. This is it. And everyone can have the slides to continue on them. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. But hopefully this has been like a trailer and a preview, and all four will be made available to you to use. And I'm sure if anybody wants to ask questions beyond this, then you certainly can. But these are just showing you how to make backdrops and how you can slot them in one after the other, and how you can do the side flaps very quickly. So go on, Werner, we can quickly go through these. And the fabulous fun you and your learners can have in making a range of different puppets in 2 dimensions. These are children's drawings. Next slide. And fabulous ones you can do in 3 dimensions using egg boxes, toilet rolls, etc. So let's go to the very, very last set of slides, which is about rehearsing. Yay, I love the messages coming. Can't wait to start. Yay, great fun. Let's do the last one in 2 minutes flat. Quickly. Werner, can we do that or not? Is this it?
Okay, Joel, I will need to close down quickly for us if it's possible.
Yay, I'm happy you're feeling inspired. Have fun. And if you want to get hold of me at any stage, come to me through my email address. And what would be fabulous is to see your results. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Werner. Thanks, everybody. And I reckon this is ta-da for now.
Well, Joel, I must just tell you, it is the most wonderful thing to experience your energy on this platform. And I can assure you, you're going to get it all from all sides. Thank you so, so much for the preparation.
Welcome.
Thank you for introducing us to this concept of theatre in a box. Amazing work out there. Yes, everyone will be in contact and we will upload. Please have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. So if I can just tell everyone that's now left on the platform, just to remember, we are again splitting up in 3 workshops now. So you will need to go to your side on the left-hand bar and go for the sessions. Click on the workshop. You've got either workshop 4, workshop 5, or workshop 6 to select. Workshop 4 will be the exploration of creative movement in the foundation phase. Then we get workshop 5 will be Poetry Matters, discover the magic of poetry. And workshop 6, practical solutions for teaching creative arts with large groups. Thank you very much for joining us. Please select your session, left-hand sidebar.